Hello everyone, it's currently 2:15 in the afternoon here in the UK and it's a nice one, it's warm outside for once. Right, so I didn't really know what case I wanted to do today, and then it occurred to me that I haven't done a Delphi update for a whole month. The last update I did on Delphi was why are you always lying? Oh dear, Judge Francis Gull. Well, there's a little bit that's happened since then, so I thought, why not? Why not do a Delphi update? And there's a couple of court filings of note. It has been very quiet, honestly, in the Delphi case of late because, you know, we've got October to wait until the trial, and the filings that were coming in thick and fast when the trial was set for May have considerably slowed down. They'll pick up again, don't you worry, they'll pick up again. But the defence have had another go at trying to get rid of Judge Francis Gull. So that's where we're going to start. And then the Supreme Court have replied. Now, some of you might have read these filings. They're not new. They're new to me. I actually read them when they came out, but they're new to me presenting them, let's put it that way. So the Supreme Court replied a couple of days ago, maybe 3 or 4 days ago now, and it's infuriating. So we're going to get into all of that, but I'm going to say a few hellos first of all. Sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't. Some people like it, some people don't. That's just the way it goes. Krista's hopped in even before the live stream started. Krista, you are so generous. $49.99. So generous. Thank you so much. All right, let's see if we got in the house. So we've got Lisa. Good morning from a cloud-seeded, muggy Central Florida. More rain today. Oh, it's actually not raining here for once today. It's nice outside. Catherine, hello. And Angie Baby, Osland, thunderstorm, cool. I do like a good thunderstorm, I do. Catherine, good day from Oz. Hello, Holly. Di, Krista. Reese Cup, hello all. Glitter Witch, hello. Karen, Leah. Oh, wow. Oh, I've not heard about that. Just heard of a family annihilator in Bibb County, Alabama on July the 18th. Huh. I hadn't heard of that one. I'll look into that. Might be a case worth covering. Oh, family annihilators, the worst. Absolute worst. Hello, Amy. Miss Anonymous. A Ramble in Rome. Hello. Fat Lady Channel. Sirius Black, Lana, Crystal, Farm Girl, Izzy, Auntie Ree. How's my day? My day's been quiet. Had a nice quiet one today. I got up mega early and then went back to bed. So that's what I did today. But I had nothing particular to do today. So I was, just milling about thinking, what case do I do? Everything's quiet. And then it dawned on me that I've not done a Delphi up there. Hello, Kimberly. Yes, you made it. Broken Goth Doll. Just finished lunch. I've not had any lunch yet. Hello, M. Crystal. All right, I'm going to stop now. But hello, everybody. Hello. All right, where shall we start? We will start with this. Start with this. And let me make my screen bigger so you can see it. There we go. All right, so this was filed on the 11th. So this is nearly 2 weeks ago. Doesn't time fly? Time really flies when you're having fun. So this was the defence's attempt to have another go at getting Judge Francis Gull to recuse herself. and it's failed. It's failed catastrophically. Catastrophically. Puppy updates. The puppies are doing well. They're ready for their new homes now. They're 8 weeks old. So they are ready for their new homes. Farmfields here are getting flooded. How's the UK? The UK had a horrible amount of rain over the last few months. And it still does rain every couple of days. It always rains here in the UK. But the fields aren't flooded anymore. Certainly not here anyway. The fields are okay. R&M Productions, $4.99. Thank you so much. You're very kind. Thank you, thank you. You have a fan on in North East UK because it's hot. All right. So this is a precipice. A precipice for determination on whether a ruling has been delayed beyond the time limitations set forth under Trial Rule 53.1. So this is Indiana trial rules. And the defense are trying to argue to the Supreme Court that Francis basically is lazy. She's been lazy throughout this case because it takes her ages to get round to responding to court filings set by the defence. Sometimes she doesn't even bother replying at all. And when she does reply, it's all deny without hearing. So they've had a go at trying to get her to recuse herself. So this time they've appealed to the Supreme Court of Indiana. And the Supreme Court have replied, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. So the filings are only quite short. So this is 5 pages, and the reply from the Supreme Court is actually less than 2 pages. So it shouldn't take us too long to get through these. It's not going to be a mega long live like some of them are when we talk about Delphi. Am I covering the Black Swan Ashley Beanfield case? Honestly, I don't know very much about it. I know the trial's on right now. If I get into the trial, it is one that I think I'll probably enjoy. Do we really say enjoy when we're talking about murders and stuff? But it is the kind of thing that I'm interested in. I just don't know very much about the case, so I'll be going into the trial like brand new, as if I was a juror. So I'll see how I find the trial. Started this week, didn't it? They're in jury selection, yeah. Started this week. So how long do they plan to do jury selection for? A day, 2 days, 3 days? I'll see. I'll listen to the opening statements and then I'll decide as to whether I want to talk about it on the channel. Anyway, comes now that the accused Richard Allen, by and through counsel Andrew J. Baldwin, and respectfully files this precipice for a determination whether a ruling has been delayed beyond time limitations set forth under Trial Rule 53.1 as follows. Indiana Trial Rule 53.1e states, upon the filing by an interesting party of a precipice specifically designating this motion or decision delayed, the clerk of the court shall enter the date and time of the filing of the precipice, record the filing in the chronological case summary under the cause, which entry shall also include the date and time of the filing of the precipice, and promptly forward the precipice and a copy of the chronological case summary to the Chief Administrative Officer of the Indiana Office of Judicial Administration. Okay, so this goes to an admin person, like the Chief Administrative Officer, and it's up to that person to decide as to whether this trial rule has been broken by the judge. So this was done because we've got a response. Richard Allen is an interested party because he's a party in this case, i.e. Richard Allen is the accused stroke defendant in this case. Richard Allen specifically designates the following motions or rulings that have been delayed as follows. So we got a list here. And it's shocking. It's shocking when you see these things written down. It's shocking just how many things are outstanding. On March 13th, 2024, the accused filed Richard Allen's third Franks notice and request for Franks hearing, based upon newly discovered evidence and request for findings of fact and conclusions of law upon any rulings in this request. Said motion is not repetitive as it contains completely new allegations and new information not previously alleged in previous Franks motions. So we've talked about all the Franks motions on the channel. First Franks motion was in September. That was the biggie. That was the one that really set the cat amongst the pigeons. And then there's been 3 other shorter ones. As the defence have become aware of new information, they've kept trying to get a Franks hearing, but to no avail. On April 29th, 2024, the accused files defendant Richard Allen's 4th Franks motion based upon newly disclosed evidence and request for a hearing. Said motion is not repetitive as it contains completely new allegations and new information not previously alleged in previous Franks motions. On May the 7th, the court issued a pleading indicating that defendants' 3rd and 4th requests for Franks hearing will be ruled upon and not set for hearing unless necessary, which makes absolutely no sense. So she's written back to them saying, yeah, I got the Franks motions, and I'll rule upon them, and I'm not going to set a hearing unless it's necessary. Well, of course, the defence feel it's necessary. So is she going to rule as to whether it's necessary or not? So the previous 2 just denied without hearing, although it took her an awful long time to get round to it. It has been 119 days since the defence filed its 3rd Franks notice. It's been 72 days since the defence filed its 4th Franks notice. So that was, at the time of writing. It has been 64 days since the court claimed it would be ruling on the 3rd and 4th Franks motions. She said it will be ruled upon. So it will be ruled upon and not set for hearing unless necessary. So it's a non-statement. It's infuriating. The defence did file a motion for recusal of the judge on May 17th, 2024, and the judge denied said motion on May 31st, totaling 14 days from the filing of the motion to the ruling on said motion. Even after the 14 days during which the judge could not rule on any motions due to the recusal motion, are factored into calculations of time determining whether the court has violated the requirement of Indiana Trial Rule 53.1. Both of the Franks motions would still fall significantly outside of the time requirements mandated under Indiana Trial Rule 53.1. Indiana Trial Rule 53.1a states, in the event a court fails for 30 days to set a motion for hearing or fails to rule on a motion within 30 days after it was heard or 30 days after it was filed, if no hearing was required upon application by an interested party, the submission of the cause may be withdrawn from the trial judge and transferred to the Supreme Court for appointment of a special judge. So that's what they're relying upon. So I think they should have started with that, but whatever. So she should have a month, 30 days, to either set a motion on either side, whether it's the prosecution or the defence, either set it for a hearing, rule on it if a ruling is needed, otherwise respond to it properly with a definite something. But there's so many times when she's gone way beyond 30 days. So many times. There is no hearing required on the motions related to the third and fourth Frank's motions, but the court has still not ruled on these motions, even though more than 30 days have passed since they were filed. It should also be noted that it took the trial court 127 days. 127 days. Like I said, when these things are laid out, you realise just how lax this court has been. So it took her 127 days to rule on the first Frank's motion that was filed on September 18th and ruled upon on January 22nd. And then finally ruled on said motion only 4 days after defence counsel were reinstated to the case, the afternoon of January 18th. Now, remember, those 127 days actually include the time when Judge Gull erroneously disqualified Brad Rosie and Andrew Baldwin. So Francis probably has she could probably say, well, they weren't even on the case for the majority of that time because I erroneously disqualified them. But remember, when the interim attorneys were looking after Richard Allen's case, Scremin and Libretto, she said to them, if you want to, take on the defences, the previous defence, the rightful defences, Frank's motion, then she'll set it for a hearing. She actually said that. She actually said that to Scremin and Libretto. And then as soon as Baldwin and Rosie were back on the case, she ruled on it, saying, denied without hearing. Unbelievable. Unfreaking believable. Unfreaking believable. All right. So, wait. So finally, it ruled on said motion only 4 days after defence counsel were reinstated to the case the afternoon of January 18, 2024, before defence counsel had the opportunity to file a similar Trial Rule 53.1 request for the court's delay in ruling on that motion. None of the exceptions set forth in the Indiana Trial Rule 53.1b are applicable. Defence counsel is requesting the clerk of the court, pursuant to Indiana Rule for Procedures 53.1e, to enter the date and time of the filing in the clerk's recipe book, record the filing in the chronological case summary under the cause, and promptly forward the recipe and a copy of the CCS to the Executive Director of the Division of State Court Administration. Indiana Trial Rule 53.1e2 states, if the CAO determines, so the administrative officer, chief administrative officer, determines that a ruling or decision has been delayed beyond the limitations set forth under Trial Rule 53.1 or 53.2, the CAO shall give written notice to the judge of the cause, the clerk of the trial court, and the clerk of the Supreme Court of Indiana that the submission of the case has been withdrawn from the judge. The withdrawal is effective as of the time of the filing of the precipice. The clerk of the trial court shall record this determination in the chronological case summary under the cause and provide notice to all parties in the case. The CAO shall submit the case to the Supreme Court of Indiana for appointment of a special judge or such other action deemed appropriate by the Supreme Court. Okay. Wherefore, the petitioner by counsel pursuant to Indiana Trial Rule 53.1 respectfully files his precipice for a determination whether a ruling has been delayed beyond the time limitations set forth, etc., etc. So that was written by Andrew Baldwin. Well, just a few days ago, we got a response from the Indiana Supreme Court. So this is the Chief Administrative Officer has responded. All right. And it's infuriating. Notice of Chief Administrative Officer's determination pursuant to Trial Rule 53.1e. The Chief Administrative Officer of the Indiana Supreme Court, pursuant to Indiana Trial Rule 53.1, finds that withdrawal of the submission of the above matter from the judge is not warranted. Now, it's the reason why it's not warranted that is completely nonsensical, in my opinion. Well, then again, I'm not a lawyer, and I'm certainly not a lawyer in Indiana. So what do I know? Just from, a layperson's perspective on this, it seems utterly nonsensical, and it seems like an excuse. I don't know how you feel, if you've read this already. But this is what was declared. A review of the chronological case summary. So the CCS is the place where all the filings are put. Right? Reveals that on March 13th, 2024, Mr. Richard M. Allen filed a motion entitled Richard Allen's Third Frank's Notice and Request for Frank's Hearing based upon newly discovered evidence and request for findings of fact and conclusions of law upon any ruling on this request. On April 29th, the CCS reveals that Richard Allen filed a motion entitled Defendant Richard Allen's Fourth Frank's Motion based upon newly disclosed evidence and request for a hearing. On May 7th, the trial court issued an order or judgment of the court wherein the trial judge stated defendant's third and fourth Frank's request for Frank's hearing will be ruled upon and not set for hearing unless necessary, which is meaningless, but they've not commented on that. On July the 11th, 2024, Mr. Allen filed his precipice seeking to have the matter withdrawn from the trial judge for failing to rule on his two motions pursuant to Trial Rule 53.1a. However, Mr. Allen is mistaken and the matter should not be removed from the trial court. Why? I hear you say. Well, I'm glad you asked. According to Trial Rule 53.1a, if a trial judge fails to rule on a motion or set the motion for a hearing within 30 days, the cause may be withdrawn from the trial court. However, Mr. Allen has waived any relief under Trial Rule 53.1 by filing motions beyond the time that either party could legitimately raise a claim for removal. So because they've waited, and this is what I find as a layperson completely nonsensical. Because they've waited to do this, because they've, given Francis Gull a long time to reply, thinking, oh, well, maybe she's busy, maybe she's got lots of other things to do. Because they've waited to do this, well, that's wrong. They've waived the right to complain about it, allegedly. I can't. I just can't. Regarding the predecessor rule to Trial Rule 53.1, So regarding the predecessor rule to 53.1, the Supreme Court held, it is well settled that a party cannot claim the benefit of Rules 1 to 13 when by his conduct he has consented or waived his right to claim it. Board of Medical Registration and Examination v. Turner. Is that relevant? Again, coming as a non-lawyer, coming as a layperson, how is this excuse that this dude is going to give here, how is this relevant to Richard Allen's case? But anyway, according to under Turner, who seems to have set the precedent that this dude is going by. Okay, this case was cited for this holding in State KEP versus Cass Circuit Court. In footnote 1, the Supreme Court stated, similarly, the benefit of trial rules 53.1 or 53.2 may be waived where the deadline for a ruling has passed, but rather than filing a precipice to withdraw the cause, a party files pleadings or otherwise takes voluntary action of record inconsistent with that party's right to invoke those rules. So see generally the Board of Medical Registration versus Turner. So see generally Turner, a case from 1960. So where has this dude dragged this case up from? Because this seems to be a Board of Medical Registration versus Turner. Again, is this a relevant case to be using as a precedent set that could be applied here, going back to 1960? So basically, because they've waited too long to file this precipice, and because they've put other motions in whilst waiting for her to rule, they've waived their right to have a special judge appointed because the current judge is lazy. I can't. All right, it's a little bit more, not much more, but a little bit more. A little bit more. A little bit of an explanation here. Mr. Allen filed a motion on March 13th, 2024, which warranted the trial court to issue a ruling on this motion by Friday, April the 12th. The trial judge failed to issue a ruling by April the 12th. All right, so this guy, what's his name? Justin Faulkner, the senior administrative officer. He's obviously gone into the past cases and thought, what can I drum up? What can I drum up to support my friend Francis Gull? I mean, I don't know whether they're friends. It wouldn't surprise me. I don't know whether they're friends, honestly. But what can I use? What can I use as my excuse not to rule on this, even though I'm going to admit that she's lazy? I've got to admit she's lazy because she was meant to rule on the third Frank's motion by April the 12th, right? Submitted March the 13th. So she was meant to rule on it, but she didn't. However, instead of filing a precipice for withdrawal as early as Monday, April 15th, so because they didn't reply, they didn't send a precipice, they didn't just wait the 30 days and then send a precipice, because they gave her more time, because they sat on it, and continued to go about their business, continued to go about, you know, defending their client, filing motions that were necessary to defend their client, because they carried on filing motions, well, that was wrong. That was what they did wrong. So, however, instead of filing a precipice for withdrawal as early as Monday, April 15th, or prior to the filing of any subsequent motion, Mr. Allen filed an additional motion on April 29th, 2024. Mr. Allen filed his defendant, Richard Allen's fourth thanks motion based upon newly disclosed evidence and request for a hearing. So they were just meant to sit and wait. They were just meant to sit and wait for Francis Gull to get off her arse and reply to them. They were just meant to wait. Well, all right. What if they'd waited every single time Francis had not replied, had not issued a ruling or set a hearing to a motion? What if they waited every single time she did it? There'd be nothing done. It's surreal, Kimberly. I know. It's absolutely surreal. Unbelievable. Is this what the law is actually like in Indiana? You know, when the defense thinks, well, she's not ruled on that, but we'll give her, we'll just sit and give her more time because we've got plenty of things to do. We've got motions to file and we'll carry on filing our motions. We'll carry on business as normal. Because they did that, because they were defending their client in the only way they know how, by filing motions necessary to defend their client, they're being denied a special judge because they carried on doing their work, instead of on the 30th day when she should have replied, instead of filing a precipice, they just carried on. That was their mistake. So is that generally the law? Is that actually the law in Indiana? Because it seems to me that this Turner case that this decision is based upon doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense to apply Turner. But then again, I'm only a lay person. To me, it seems like it's an excuse. Don't know. But because Mr. Allen filed a motion seeking to advance the matter before the trial court, Mr. Allen has waived any relief under Trial Rule 53.1a concerning his motion filed on March 13th. So he can't use the March 13th one, even though she was late in ruling on it. He can't use that one because he filed a further motion. But what about the second one? All right. In terms of Mr. Allen's motion filed on April 29th, 2024, he has also waived any relief under Trial Rule 53.1a. Mr. Allen's motion warranted a ruling by the trial judge by Wednesday, May 29th. The trial judge failed to issue a ruling by May 29th. So for the second time, Justice Faulkner has admitted that Judge Francis Gull has not done her job. Look, right, listen. You know, it doesn't matter what line of work you're in, but if you basically don't do your job, what happens to you? You know, if time and time and time again you do not do your job, what happens? Does your boss just go, oh, well, I'll just make an excuse. I'll just make an excuse and let you off? Well, yeah, they might let you off one time. They might say, you know, where's such a thing? Why have you not done such a thing? And you might say, well, I've been so stacked with other things. And the boss looks at it and thinks, well, yeah, actually they have. Okay, I'll let you off. Or you may have had some kind of personal disaster in your life, which has meant you've, become backed up a little bit. All right, they might let you off. They might let you off one time. But would they continue to let you off time and time again? No. You absolutely would be under a disciplinary or potentially fired. You know, oh, I can't do that. I'm just too lazy. I haven't done that. I haven't done that. I haven't done that. This is time and time again. This is not just one time. This is time and time again. You'd be fired. You'd eventually. Maybe not for the first time. Maybe you'd be let off once. And then it will be disciplinary action. Potentially, you just get fired. Depends what job you do, I guess. Depends how harsh your boss is. Depends what type of work you do as to how quickly you get fired. But we're talking here about a criminal case, the murder of 2 little girls. And we're talking about the accused who will have been in prison, yes, prison, for 2 whole years awaiting trial by the time the trial comes. So, in my opinion, this job can't be more important. There can't be a more important job than the judge, where you've got 2 little girls who were murdered, and the accused who will have waited for 2 years for it even to go to trial. There's not many jobs more important, right? To maintain law and order, to maintain justice. We surely, in my country as well as in Indiana, judges have got to be on top of their game. They've got to be impartial. They've got to be impeccable in their rulings. They've got to be the actual, arbiter. That's the wrong word, but I can't think of the word. And Judge Francis Gull is none of these things. Judge Francis Gull, in my opinion, has been not only lazy, but she's been biased. She's just flaunted any common morality in the way that she's treated Baldwin and Rosie. Daughter of Scotland member for 36 months, my oldest member. 3 years, Daughter of Scotland. You are amazing. Supporting me for 3 whole years. There's a couple of others who are almost on the 36 months. But thank you. I mean, it's just... I kind of like to have been a fly on the wall when this reply came in. Baldwin and Rosie read this reply. I wonder what the next move's going to be. Anyway, let's finish this off. So, the trial judge failed to issue a ruling by May 29th. However, instead of filing a precipice for withdrawal as early as Thursday, May 30th, so the day after, instead of filing a precipice, which surely would have been denied. It surely would have been denied. On day 31, they filed a precipice to the Supreme Court, to the Chief Administrative Officer, and said, the judge is a day late. The judge is a day late on ruling. Fire her. Get her off my case. What do you think the Supreme Court would have done? What do you think Justin Faulkner would have done? Probably said, wait a little longer. You've been a bit presumptuous there. Maybe she's just a bit busy. Come on now. Oh, thank you. Who's this? Kimberly, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. Thank you so much. So who's got these? Oh, I've just turned my chat off. How do I get my chat back? Oh, show chat. There we go. All right, so we have got, let's have a look here. Peach Cobbler, Sweet Peas, Teresa, Ginger Spicy, and Isabel. Welcome, you guys. Thank you, Kimberly. And you 5 get a month's free membership, courtesy of Kimberly. You've got some cute puppy pics if you're going to go and see them in the members area. And there's a bunch of stuff in there. Little videos, bloopers, members' lives. Yeah, the case is infuriating. I'd be interested to know, Isabel, that whether Gull and Baldwin have had some sort of history. Seems to be a mutual hatred. It'd be interesting to know what their paths were like. You know, had their paths crossed in previous cases? That's right. Baldwin and Rosie have way more class, integrity, honour and smarts than anyone on Slick Nick's side. And that therein lies the issue. Slick Nick needs help, doesn't he? He needs help. And he's certainly getting help. Yeah, I agree with you, Rhonda. They need to move the case out of Delphi. Well, the thing is, the case is out of Delphi. I mean, kind of. Because the Carroll County judge recused himself, and Francis Gull is from Allen County. So the judge is from Allen County, and then the jury is going to be picked from Allen County. So technically, you know, the jury is going to not be Carroll County jurors. They're going to be Allen County jurors. So technically it is out of the county. The UK justice system doesn't seem as corrupt as some US cases make it seem. Our court proceedings aren't shown on TV, so we don't see a lot. Exactly, CW. This is why I think in the UK, cases should be televised. We, unless you actually, you know, the courts are public places, so you could go to a court and listen to all the pre-trial stuff if you wanted to. But there's so much that's done behind closed doors. There probably is just as much corruption. It wouldn't surprise me. All right, let's finish this. So instead of filing the precipice as early as Thursday, May 30th, or prior to the filing of any subsequent motion, Mr. Allen filed an additional motion on June 18th. The CCS reveals that Mr. Allen filed a motion entitled Accused Response to this Court's May 31st, 2024 order or judgment of the court and notice of conflict. Because Mr. Allen filed a motion seeking to advance the matter before the trial court, Mr. Allen has waived any relief under Trial Rule 53.1a concerning his motions filed on April 29, 2024. The precipice is denied. Accordingly, submission of this case is not withdrawn from the trial judge in accordance with Indiana Trial Rule 53.2e and 53.1e. The local clerk must enter this determination in the chronological case summary of this case and provide a copy of this notice to the trial judge and all parties of record in this proceeding. So that was written on the 19th. Justin P. Faulkner, Chief Administrative Officer from the Indiana Supreme Court. So it'd be interesting to see what happens next. You know, is this going to make Francis reply to everything within 30 days? Does it mean that she can go 30? She can. You see, how are Baldwin and Rosie going to be able to handle this case from now on? How is this actually going to work from now on? Because if they want to hold Francis to the fire, if they want to hold her feet to the fire, they've got to wait 30 days. They're going to file a motion, wait 30 days to see if she responds. Then if she responds, then they can file another motion. Okay. And it can carry on like that. And maybe Francis will quicken the time it takes for her to respond to things. But then she could take 30 days every single time, couldn't she? She could keep the defense waiting for 30 days every single time they submit a motion. And in fear of not being able to complain about her, they've got to wait those 30 days. They've got to wait it out. You know, if she does this again and takes 31 days, all right, well, they could file a precipice to the Indiana Supreme Court. But they've got to wait those 30 days. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, they're not going to be able to carry on doing their work, filing motions. Or do they just carry on as normal? Do they forget? Do they just think, well, it's a dead duck? Whatever we do, however we appeal to the Supreme Court, they're going to find a way to put the kibosh on either disciplining Francis or getting rid of her. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do next. I really don't. I really don't. There was one more thing that was filed. Let me find it. This has only just been filed. Hold on, let me pull this up. This was filed yesterday. Okay. This was filed yesterday. It's only short. We might as well bring the case totally up to date. She's violated a lot of his rights. Yeah, she has, but the Supreme Court don't seem to have a problem with her. They had a problem with her disqualifying Baldwin and Rosie. They had a problem with her then, but they didn't think it was so bad that they were going to disqualify her and put a new judge on. They didn't think it was that bad. Shaker Maker, thank you for the $4.99 in my currency. Thank you so much. Can't figure out how to give memberships on an iPhone. If anybody knows, please explain it to me. I don't think you can if you're using the app. What you've got to do is open YouTube in a browser like Safari. If you open YouTube in Safari, then it should be okay, or open it on Google or whatever. If you open it in the app, I don't think you can. I think if you open it on a browser, then it will let you. I think. Don't quote me on that. Hold on. Bear with me. I'm going to go and get my phone. Let me just see if I can give memberships from my phone. Hold on. Alrighty. Let's have a look. All right. I'll open it in Google. What's it trying to get me to do? No. Bear with me. All right, so let me open up this live stream. Can't even see the chat. Oh, maybe you can't. Can you even see the chat? I never watch live streams on my phone. Like, I listen to them often. I can't even see the chat, so I don't know. I don't know the answer. I genuinely do not know the answer. If anybody else knows the answer, then pop it in the chat. No, sorry. I did try. Lisa, member for 16 months. Thank you so much. Hello from Poland. Click on the live chat button. All right. Yeah, I didn't see it, though. That was the issue. I've got likes, share, save, report. Hold on, let me open it in Safari. Wasting a lot of time here, Anna. Sorry, guys. I'm just curious. No, I still can't see the chat. That's so bizarre. Huh. Below that. There isn't anything below that except for the next video. Oh well. Not to worry. Sorry, I don't know. All right, so this was filed yesterday. So this is just a short thing. Be interested to see whether Francis grants them this little thing. So this is the defendant's motion for leave to present mini opening statements to the jury panel prior to the voir dire. So this is during jury selection. So they want to be able to present a mini opening statement to, the potential jurors. Interested to see how she responds to this. Come now, the defendant, by counsel, moves this court for leave to present a mini opening statement to the jury panel prior to the commencement of the voir dire, and as a basis for such motion states. Now, I don't see, I think this is very innocuous. I don't see why they shouldn't be allowed to present a mini opening statement to these, potential jurors. I don't see any reason why they shouldn't be allowed to do this. And obviously the prosecution give them the same, same thing, mini opening statement. Maybe like, I don't know, 15 minutes, maybe. Indiana Jury Rule 14b provides to facilitate the jury panel's understanding of the case. With the court's consent, the parties may present brief statements of facts and issues, mini opening statements to be determined by the jury. The defendant asserts that it's their right to a fair and impartial jury, as constitutionally guaranteed, will be enhanced by this procedure because a more meaningful exchange of information will take place during voir dire if the parties are allowed to review the main issues to be contested at trial. The defendant believes that those issues can be effectively summarised by each party pursuant to Jury Rule 14b in 3 minutes or less. 3 minutes. They just want 3 minutes. I would say 10 or 15 minutes is a mini opening statement, but 3 minutes? They just want 3 minutes of the court's time to present a mini opening statement. Again, it'll be very interested to see how she responds to this. Wherefore, the defendant by counsel respectfully requests that the court permit a mini opening statement by each party immediately prior to the party's first round of voir dire. Okay. Shaker Maker gifted a membership. Thank you so much. And it's gram number 7. Thank you, Shaker Maker. You're very kind. So you did manage to do it. You did manage to gift a membership. I didn't manage to do it. You did it on your boy's iPad. All right, okay. So it's just the phone. I'm going to have to go and get my iPad now. No, I won't. I won't waste your time doing that. Even with all hands patting Slick Nick's booty, he's going to look a fool, and everyone's supported him will too. The thing that concerns me, I've got to be completely honest here, the thing that concerns me is that how is Richard Allen ever going to get a fair trial when at the trial none of us are going to be able to see it? For one, number one, none of us are going to be able to see it. The reporters and anybody who goes to the trial are not allowed to tweet. They're not allowed to use any form of electronics in the court. So we're not even going to get, a live commentary via Twitter. So we're only going to hear from reporters who dash out and probably miss stuff to make a quick report. Or I don't even know whether she lets people out of the courthouse during breaks. I don't know. So that's number one. Injustice is going to be done in the dark here. Second, based on her previous behaviours, and in many cases, past behaviour predicts future behaviour. Not in all cases, certainly, but in many cases, past behaviour predicts future behaviour. So we know she's been biased, even if the Supreme Court can't see it. We know she's been biased. How is she going to be at the trial? How is she going to rule to any objections? Is she going to be as biased as she's been during the pre-trial stage to any objections that are raised by the defence? And is she going to, accept, uphold any objection raised by the prosecution and then deny any objection raised by the defence? So the jury going to actually see an impartial judge? And my opinion at this stage is most definitely not. Nick, a while ago now, I did cover this on the channel, Nick put in a motion to deny the defence from mentioning anything about Odinism or Brad Holder or Patrick Westfall or anything to do with their alternate theory at the trial. Now, I can't remember how she ruled on that. Did she even rule on it? Is that another outstanding thing that she's got? That she, it could well be that the defence aren't even allowed to present their alternate theory. It could well be that they're not even allowed to present it. The things that we've been talking about now since September, the jury may never even hear about. But the prosecution having an Odinist expert, I know. I know. It makes no sense. But it could well be possible that she doesn't allow the defence the opportunity to present their alternate theory. I hope they are, but it's within the realm of her, of the possibility that she prevents them from doing that. You believe Gull is compromised? Yes, so do I. So do I. And I don't very often go down the conspiracy theory route, but in this case, I think you have no choice but to consider the possibility that the judge is compromised, that the judge has been, that Slick Nick has got friends in high places, that they're all in it together. You have to consider that because it's the only logical conclusion that you can possibly draw if you're being objective. Now, if you're of the mindset that Richard Allen's guilty no matter what, then you're not going to look at it this way. But if you're open-minded and think, all right, why do we have so much bias? Why do we have all these shenanigans? Why do we have this ridiculous disqualification of the defence for next to no reason? Why all of that? Why is all of that happening? The only logical conclusion that you can draw, even if you believe Richard Allen could well be guilty, the only logical conclusion you can draw to all the shenanigans is that there is something underneath, something underlying that is causing them all to behave that way. And you have to consider the possibility that Judge Francis Gull is compromised in some way. Whether she's being paid off, whether she's whatever it might be. And I think the only way Richard Allen is going to get a fair trial is if a new judge is brought in. And to be honest, though, how do we know that that judge isn't going to be equally compromised? We don't. So I feel very despondent about this case at the moment. I really do. I feel that we're not going to see justice in this case, and I feel that Richard Allen is in it for the long haul. Is in it for the long haul. He's going to be in prison for a very, very, very long time. I can't see that we're going to see justice in this case. And look, if Richard Allen's guilty, then fair dues. But he should be found guilty in a court of law that is fair. And the only way that Abby and Libby are going to see justice and their families are going to see justice is if a fair trial is what everybody's fighting for. That's my opinion. Gazelle, thank you for being a member for 19 months. Why is the Supreme Court hell-bent to keep Judge Gull on the case? Exactly. Exactly. You could bring another level of conspiracy in there. That probably Judge Gull has got friends in the Supreme Court. She's probably got lots of friends in the Supreme Court who aren't willing to think of her as being lazy and biased. Has case got a start date? The trial, do you mean, Linda? Yeah, October 15th. They're going to do a jury selection. I think the trial proper starts on the 18th, if I remember rightly. Ozzy, let me just find you. Member for 20 months. Thank you so much. Michelle is the best voice of reason. I'm glad I've seen you. I got your package. Thank you so much. I got your package the other day. Actually, about a week ago now, I got your package. So thank you so much. I've worn the t-shirt that you sent me. Worn it already. It's been worn, it's been washed, and it's now back in the clean clothes pile. But thank you. She may subconsciously think he's guilty. That's why she's doing it. Well, if she subconsciously thinks he's guilty, she should learn how to recognize her own unconscious bias, because as a judge, she shouldn't have any. So she should learn to recognize her own biases. Well, I'd normally agree with you. That surely, law enforcement, the judicial system, the higher court, the highest court in Indiana, surely they all can't be conspiring to frame an innocent man. And I don't think they are. I think it's a small number of people who might be conspiring. And Richard Allen's a good enough fall guy. Could have been someone else. I don't think it's personal against Richard Allen. I think he just fit the bill. They needed a fall guy. And then everybody else is willfully ignorant. Like the Supreme Court are willfully ignorant. That's how I feel. I don't feel it's a big conspiracy that includes the Supreme Court, that includes every law enforcement official in Indiana, that includes every judge in Indiana. I don't feel that. I wouldn't go that far. I don't think they're all in it in the same way. I think it's a small number of people who framed Richard Allen for their own reasons, and everybody else is willfully ignorant. That's my feeling. That's where I'm at with it at the moment, because I can't see any logical reason why they would be treating the case in this way if there wasn't some kind of shenanigans going on behind the scenes. Will I be following Donna Adelson's trial? Maybe. Oh, okay. The Black Swan trial started an hour ago, so I guess they were done with jury selection yesterday. All right, well, I'm going to go. I'm assuming that opening statements in that case are ongoing, so I'm going to go and listen to opening statements and see whether it's a case that I want to talk about on this channel. So thank you for letting me know, and I am out of here. But we're now up to date with the Delphi case. Infuriatingly and despondently, we're up to date with the Delphi case. Yeah, the system's broken. What's my personal opinion of his guilt or innocence? Are you on the fence? I am on the fence. I think that the PCA it had holes in it. I don't think it's the weakest PCA I've ever seen. I'm prepared to consider the potential that he's guilty based on what's in the PCA, but I sure hope that they do have more that they're able to present at the trial. But I think the defense has put together some very compelling arguments. So I'm looking forward to hearing those arguments from both sides and seeing all the evidence from both sides at the trial. But I am on the fence. I'm kind of 60-40 factual innocent versus factually guilty. I sometimes go 70-30 factually innocent to factually guilty. But I'm very prepared to think maybe he is factually guilty. But then again, it's difficult. It's difficult to see it. It's difficult to see the wood for the trees in the case when there's so many shenanigans going on. And I am waiting for the trial. And that's why I'm hoping that the judge is recused and we do get an actual fair trial. And I'd like to watch it on the TV if that will be possible. Let's get Michelle to 80k. Yes, I'm nearly at 80k subscribers. Almost. Just another few hundred to go. And there's so many people who watch my channel who are not subscribed. Like, they watch my videos, but they just don't subscribe. I think a lot of people watch YouTube and don't subscribe to any channel. Like the news channels, I don't tend to subscribe to them all, but I watch them. But yeah, if you're responding in the chat, you are subscribed because it's subscribers only chat. But if you happen to be watching this live stream and you do watch my videos and you enjoy my videos, then click on the subscribe and get me to 80k. Impartiality is tainting the jury pool, potentially. All right, I'm gone. I'm going to go and see what this Black Swan trial's all about. So thank you all. Thank you for joining me. Thank you to those that donated. You're very kind. Welcome to the new members. And thanks as always to the mods. All right, I'm gone. Enjoy the rest of your day. Over to Black Swan. Bye, guys.